Gas prices climbing for the 21st day in a row. That's 3 weeks. According to AAA, the average price for a gallon of regular now $3.72, up 2 cents while you were sleeping overnight. Since the beginning of the year, we've seen prices shoot up, inching closer to $4 a gallon on average. So what do you do to reverse the trend? Republican Senator Rand Paul out of Kentucky has some ideas. A member of the Senate Tea Party caucus. And Senator, good morning to you.
Good morning.
How would you turn this thing around?
Well, you know, number one, it's important to know that the price of gas is not really rising so much as the value of your dollar is shrinking. When you run a massive deficit and a debt like the United States is running, what we do is we print up money. And when we print up money, you lose the value of the current money. So what's happening is the value of your dollar is shrinking, and consequently the price at the pump is higher. Also, this is happening in food and other items as well. It's very hard on the working class and very hard on senior citizens, but it's all related to the massive debt, and I think the president bears a lot of responsibility for this massive debt.
Why is that?
Well, you know, he's increased spending enormously. We're now spending $1 and $4 in the economy is spent in Washington, and I think this profligate spending is causing prices to rise, and ultimately you can destroy a currency. I have in my office a $100 trillion note from Zimbabwe. My hope is that we don't become Zimbabwe. And some say, well, oh, America could never become Zimbabwe. If we keep printing money and keep running massive debts, we will destroy our currency. And we're seeing the early stages of rising prices. But it all has to do with the debt and big governments. That's why we have to change what we're doing up here.
The White House would argue that Iran plays a big factor into this. Do you buy that?
Well, there is some emotions to price. Prices respond in a speculative fashion when people fear a disruption of supply. But I think it also has to do with the fact that we're not making enough and producing enough oil in the United States. You know, we've had essentially a moratorium on offshore drilling in the United States. We aren't opening up new drilling areas in Alaska. We have a moratorium on nuclear power in many states around the country. This administration is cracking down on the technique called fracking for getting natural gas out of the ground. So really, we've had a very unfriendly environment for energy production, and on top of that, then they now are shutting down the pipeline. So this administration has done nothing to increase supply. They've gone begging around the world for other countries to produce oil, but we haven't been producing it here. So it's a combination of a lot of things: shrinking value of the dollar, not expanding the supply, and also some of the speculation based on fears of war in the Middle East.
When you mention the pipeline, I assume you're talking about Keystone.
Yes.
Would Keystone play a big factor today in gas prices, do you believe?
Well, I wouldn't say an enormous factor, but it's part of the factors that factor into what the price is. And so, yes, by all means, it helps jobs, 20,000 jobs to build the pipeline, and also it helps supply. Anything you do to increase domestic supply helps to keep prices down. Everything this president is doing has done nothing to expand domestic supply, and that is a factor in the price of gasoline. But the other factor that's really important is this massive debt, and we need to let people know that the debt is connected to prices rising.
Just stay on Keystone for a moment. There are those who argue that it would take a long period of time before this pipeline is up and operating, and that would have no impact on what we're experiencing now. The argument you're making seems to defy that. Do I hear you right?
Well, I would say that you can't say, oh, because of the pipeline, that's why gas prices are X. I would say that they are a factor, though, and domestic supply is a factor in the price of gasoline. The fact that we are not drilling in 2/3 or more of our offshore regions, all of these are factors. So no one factor is causing it. But the real question is, does the president bear responsibility? And I say yes, because he's run up a massive debt, and that's what's destroying the value of your dollar, and that's why your prices are rising.
Well, why do you think Washington is okay with this? I mean, it seems like we talk about this, if not every 2 years, every 4 years.
Yeah, and I think that it's one of the things that we as Republicans need to do a better job explaining, because the people who get hurt worst by rising prices are the working class and senior citizens on fixed income. And we need to let them know that big government's not their friend, that running up massive deficits is what causes the price to go up at the pump.
Rand Paul, thank you for your time. We'll speak again, okay, very soon.
Thank you.
The senator from Kentucky with me on the line. Thank you.